Stampers, it's Cindy here with Stampin' Chick Creations. Just wanted to jump on real quick and just give you a quick video on a card that I've made that I absolutely loved. It was actually intended as a card for my club, but as I got cutting, I realized to cut 14 sets of them was going to be a little too difficult on my hand because my hands are not that good. So I changed route, but I wanted to show you this card anyway because it's absolutely beautiful. So this is it here. And I haven't added a sentiment on it yet, but I'll show you how I'm going to do that. And this actually uses the Blossoms in Bloom stamp set, which is absolutely gorgeous. So I'll just open this up to show you the actual stamp set. The stamps, the flowers on this is quite large, and it also has the coordinating sizzlets that comes with it. So that's how we did those flowers there. So it has the solid piece, and then it has the outline, and then it also has some additional smaller flowers that we could use to pop these up here on our sizzlet. So I've already done some pre-cutting on this one just to make it go a little bit quicker. So the color that I'm using here is Magenta Madness, which is actually one of our new in colors, and I absolutely love this color. I'm not a huge pink fan. I like pink, but it's not my go-to color generally. And if I do like pink, it's more of a melon mambo type of a pink that I would like. But I have fallen in love with this color quite quickly, actually. It's very bright and cheery, and I just love it. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I have actually pre-cut the solid flower in vellum paper. Actually, I think this is actually cardstock because it's a little bit thicker. And then I pre-cut the vellum or the outline with Whisper White just to make it go a little bit quicker, so you didn't have to sit here and watch me die cut those out. So it's really important, I can't speak, I'm sorry, that when you're cutting these out that you get a good cut. So if you have to run it through a couple more times than you would have normally, it's well worth it than trying to fight it the whole way along. So the one thing you are going to need to do this card is our fine tip glue. And if you don't have this fine tip glue, I'm going to strongly suggest that you add this to your list. It is awesome, and it's great for these little intricate cards that we're doing. So I'm going to go ahead, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, on the back part of my vellum, I'm going to actually just apply a couple drops of this fine tip glue. And so I don't want to put a lot because, as you might know, with vellum you can actually see where the glue has dried. So you just want to be aware of that. So if I just sporadically put it throughout my card, it won't be as noticeable, we hope. And I'm just sticking to more of the bolder sections and just applying a little bit more than I would normally have done. So the tricky thing with fine tip glue is just making sure that you hold it down to let it sit to dry. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to position this on my card as such. And you'll see how it fits quite nicely there. So fine tip glue does kind of spread a little bit, so you just want to be really careful that you don't over apply when doing this, because it will actually spill out onto your cardstock or your card base. Okay. So now the tricky part is we're going to go ahead and apply this directly on top. So before we do that, we want to make sure we kind of have an idea of how this is going to go, because we don't really want to be fumbling with it, trying to figure out how to apply it onto this layer while we have glue on it. That makes our lives just a little bit more complicated. So we just want to make sure we're comfortable with how this is going to lay onto our card. And I think that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm using this leaf and this leaf kind of as my guide as to where it's going to go. So I'm going to go ahead. This one is definitely where you want your fine tip glue. This is very, very intricate, and I don't know how you would do this without fine tip glue unless you're using the adhesive sheets, which we also sell. I don't have any of the adhesive sheets. I've always used fine tip glue, but I do know people who've had great success with the adhesive sheets and love them. So if that's your thing, then you could actually use an adhesive sheet to apply this. And if you don't know what I mean by an adhesive sheet, it's actually a sticky sheet. It's a glue sheet basically that you would run through your die through, and it would cut out basically a sticker on the back for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to flip this way, because of course I had it flipped the wrong way. And I'm going to lay it on top here. And the beauty of this Sizzlet is that if it's not 100% bang on right on top of the embossed or the vellum, it doesn't matter because it just adds a little bit dimension. So I'm just trying to push this down just to give it some encouragement to stick. I feel like I don't have my words tonight. So what I could do is after this is done drying, I could actually go back and add a little bit more glue where I feel we might need some. And what I would suggest is maybe flipping it over and putting something heavy under it just to help it adhere nicely. So I'm just going to put this to the side for a second, and then I'm going to close up my fine tip glue. So if you've never used fine tip glue, it's trying to get this little pin into that little hole, and sometimes you think you've got it, and turns out that you actually don't. So I'm going to use the Blossoms in Bloom stamp set, and I'm going to actually come in with some scrap pieces of paper, and I've just cut these down to, you know, 1/4 inch or whatever, 1/2 inch, and these are just scraps, so I haven't really measured them. And I'm going to go ahead and use some of these words. So we've got a good variety. We've got happy birthday, thinking of you, thank you, I like you a lot, get well soon, hello. So the great thing about these clear stamps is that you could actually line this up and see which ones will fit on there. So I'm gonna use, how about just a hello? I feel like I do a lot of thank you cards these days. So I think I'm just gonna do a simple hello. And that way I'm not really committed to anything very specific. So I'm gonna come in with my craft ink pad, which is my white craft ink pad. I love this ink pad. I'm just gonna ink that up, and I'm just gonna come over a hair over this way. So my white is not very juicy. I've used it quite a bit. So the thing with a craft ink pad is that you want to make sure that you allow it time to dry. So I'm just gonna actually with my paper snips just kind of cut that off there, and then I'm going to flag this on the one end. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of slicing this in the middle, and then I'm coming in from each side on an angle. And so what this will do is this will kind of give me what we call a flag. Okay, so I want to make sure my card's opening the correct way. So I could actually go ahead and put this about there. I might trim this off a little bit though, because I feel like that's way too long. And I could just pop that up with a little dimensional, and there's my card. So this is really cute in a variety of colors. I've seen it done in a lot of the in colors, which is really fun. So I'm just gonna put that right there. I love the white ink on the black cardstock. So I think I'll do the other one similar. Do that one as a hello as well. Okay, there we go. And I will trim this down. So again, you want to just give this white craft ink just a minute to dry, just so you don't put your finger on it and smudge it, because it's pigment based, so it will not dry the same as our regular ink, which is water based. Okay, so if you've ever wondered what the difference was between craft ink and classic ink, that was the difference. So at one point we actually carried a whole line of craft inks, which we do not carry anymore. I'll put this one about there. So there we go. So hopefully you enjoyed the card, and you enjoy this stamp set here. It's beautiful. So you don't necessarily have to use just the stamp set. You can use the stamp set and the Sizzlets, or just use the Sizzlets, which is really great. So lots and lots of versatility with that. So that's awesome. So if you have any questions or concerns, let me know, and I can help you decide which stamp set's best for you. And I'd love to see your cards created similar to this, and posted them on my VIP page. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for joining me, and have a great night. Thanks, guys. Bye.